Goeiedag, mijn naam is Stefan de Tuinder en ik ben hier vandaag bij het kantoor van Finst. Ik zit hier naast mij met Julien, hij is CEO van Finst en ik ga hem in deze aflevering een aantal vragen stellen. Vooral vragen die jullie als kijker zijnde wellicht bezig gaan houden. Julien, welkom, dankjewel dat je hier bent. Zoals mensen waarschijnlijk weten is Julien Frans, dus betekent dat we in dit interview de voertaal Engels gaan houden. So, Julien, thank you very much for being here. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Stefan, for your interview today. My name is Julien Vallet. I'm French. I'm the CEO of the cryptocurrency exchange Finst. We're based in Amsterdam, registered with the Dutch Central Bank. Launched in January 2023. I myself been living in Amsterdam for almost a decade now. Worked in the financial markets for a little bit over 13 years. Joined the Giro and the stockbroker for 7 years as one of the first employees, and decided to move to the crypto world and to save the same problems as we used to solve back in the days. And I'm very happy to be here with you today.
Right, thank you for your introduction. Why did you, on a certain moment, thought, right, I want to launch Finst? Why would that be a good idea?
Well, you know, like I said, we, together with our team, we were the first employees who built what is currently the largest online brokerage platform in the Netherlands and also in Europe. And what we noticed is that the crypto industry, in our view, has the same problems as the stock trading back in the days. And that means that we think it was too expensive for retail investors to trade cryptocurrencies, also very intransparent, and there was also a lot of missing safety and trust in the industry. It turns out we were building Finst while the FTX situation happened, and that just proved us that the industry and in the Netherlands and abroad really needed a player that is going to, you know, establish a very high standard in the crypto industry, both in the Netherlands, but also everywhere in Europe, since everyone experienced the same problems.
Yeah, I can remember that, like the FTX collapse. So I heard you talking about safety, security. Can you tell the viewers of this interview something about that? Like, how does Finst get along with the security and like the regulating what is coming?
So there is a certain number of aspects when it comes to safety. It's a very broad term. I think one of the core principles as an exchange is to be regulated. In our case, we're registered as a crypto service provider with the Dutch Central Bank. So we operate from the Netherlands and adhere to the highest standard when it comes to money laundering and fighting financial crime. So that's one part of it, so that customers know that when they open an account with us and invest with us, they know, you know, what kind of party we are and where we are based. I think that's very important. Now, if you look a bit more in depth at what safety means for investors, number one thing which we brought from the traditional financial world is asset segregation. What does asset segregation means? In simple terms, it means that all the assets of our clients, their coins, but also their cash, is not stored with our company, but in a separate foundation, which is called a stichting in Dutch, which means that in practice, if something, in the unlikely event where something would happen to us, Finst, as a company, then all the assets of our clients would be protected. And that's very important because, well, everyone again know what happened to FTX. If they had a structure like that, then investors would have been protected and would still have their funds as of today. There's a couple of other elements. We also use Dutch regulated banks to store the cash of our clients. So if you have money on your account with Finst, it is stored with Bank, which is also a Dutch bank. So it's very important to us to, you know, work with world players when it comes to bank or also custodian. So we use Fireblocks, which is the world's leading wallet management provider. Basically, institutional parties store their crypto with a party like Fireblocks. That's not something that retail investors can do, but using us as an exchange, then they can, you know, benefit from that very high level of safety with Fireblocks. So there's many more measures we have invested in to make sure that, you know, we are really the safest exchange in the Netherlands. But these are the main ones that are really important for investors.
So I heard you like talking about the retail investors. I think that's like most of your clients. So what are the benefits for people who are watching this interview and probably thinking, all right, I'm a retail investor. What's in it for me to invest or to switch to Finst?
Well, number one is the fees. We offer the lowest fees in the Netherlands by far. What it costs right now in the Netherlands, it costs around 1.3% every time you make a trade on any coin for any amount. We have decided that we would lower the fees by roughly 82% on average, not up to, but on average, compared to the 8 main providers in the Netherlands. So we charge 0.15%. So in practice, if you trade €1,000 with us, you will pay €1.50 of fees. With other players, it costs around 12 to 13. So there's a big difference there, which means that active traders save a lot on their fee with us. But besides the fact that we charge very low fees, we also don't charge anything in the spread. I was mentioning transparency, which is one of our core values. And what you see happening in the crypto world is that most exchanges charge costs in the form of spread. What is the spread? Is the difference between the buying price of a cryptocurrency and the selling price. And in between, well, the difference is often a fee that is charged by the exchange. So most people don't pay attention to that, which means that indirectly they think they're great, they're not paying that much fees, but they are in fact paying a lot of money, which is sort of hidden from them because it's not really obvious. You don't see that. That's something we don't do. So we don't add any spread. We have very high liquidity and deep liquidity. So 0.15%, that's all you pay. No hidden fee whatsoever.
So that's a pretty big advantage as a retail trader. And I also read something about you on your website about the crypto
bundles.
Bundles, yeah.
Yes, correct.
Can you tell me something about that and how that works?
Correct. So we were in April this year, we were the first party to introduce crypto bundles. And the idea is very simple, we built that product for ourselves because we could not really find a way to invest in a passive way in cryptocurrencies without spending a lot of time researching which coins to invest in and in which proportion. So we decided to build crypto bundles. So basically the idea is you can buy or sell the top 10, top 5, top 25 crypto in one click. They are ranked by market capitalization, so from the largest ones to the smallest ones. So we don't decide which coins goes in the top 25. It's really based on market capitalization. And these crypto bundles get rebalanced every month automatically. So the idea is when a coin, let's say the number of 25 falls out of the top 25 because its market cap went down, then another one will replace it. That rebalancing happens automatically for you as an investor. So you really don't have to you can invest in 25 coins without needing to spend time and effort. And that is something that's really new, and we heard a lot of demand from retail investors to be able to invest like that. Similar to what is happening in the stock trading. You can already do that with stocks, buy 50 stocks in one go. We decided that, the crypto world, it would be great if there was such a solution. So we are the only player that offers that in the Netherlands, again, with very low fees. And we also invested a lot in the platform. So we have a platform that people can use on desktop, on mobile, on pretty much any device, where we are also the only platform that lets you really track your profit and losses in depth. So what you see happening is most of the platforms out there do not show you how you're performing. And everyone wants to become a better investor. But in our view, if you want to become better, you need to know how you're doing. And it's a little bit like driving a car without knowing how fast you're going, or if there is fuel in the tank, then at some point, something is going to go wrong. Yeah. So we invested a lot in making sure that whenever you invest in a crypto, you can see how much you're doing, your unrealized P&L, realized P&L, and all of that is shown to you in a very comprehensive way. And that's also something very unique that we offer.
So you're basically telling me that transparency within your company is key.
Transparency is key not only in our company, but also in the crypto industry. And we exist to make sure that we set the highest standards in the industry. I think a lot of people might be a little bit skeptical about crypto in general, and it's our responsibility as an exchange to ensure that we establish a high level of trust, that people are able to distinguish a great player versus a less regulated one that has lower standards. So indeed, transparency is the reason why we have built Finst in the first place.
All right. So I also read on your website that you got like a particular set of rules, recording tools, and I don't hope that will happen for anyone. But if you passed away, so what are the rules within Finst? Can you tell me something about that?
Well, the idea is when you're a centralized exchange, one of the benefits is that indeed there are procedures in place. If, for example, if unfortunately someone passes away, well, everyone wants to be able to, give a legacy to their children and family. So let's say something was to happen to you, for example, and you're a client of Finst, then, together with the notary, assuming we are able to identify who are your heirs, then, you would be able to transfer these assets to your children, for example, and that's something that the decentralized world does not enable you to achieve. And similarly, if you also trade on a decentralized exchange and you lose credentials to your wallet, or you transfer a coin through the wrong chain, well, all of that can result in you losing all your assets, and that's something that cannot happen with us. We are also working because we understand that the decentralized aspect of things is very important for investors. We are also working on enabling crypto deposits and withdrawals, which will come this summer. So the idea is people will be able to transfer coins in and out of our platforms. That's something we don't offer currently, but will come in the next weeks. And we will also expand our product coverage to 100 to 120 cryptocurrencies from 43 today.
So that's big advantages if you want to choose for Finst.
Yes, so you will have the lowest fees in the country, one of the largest coin selection. You will be able to do self-custody if you want to, or keep your, or keep your assets with us. So the combination of the fees, the platform, and the assets will make us a very unique platform in the market.
So in the latest events from Binance that they didn't get the license to operate in the Netherlands, is there anything negative or positive that can come out of for Finst?
Well, it's important that only registered exchange are allowed to operate in the country. So in that sense, it's the DNB decided not to grant that registration to Binance, which means that clients will have to find another exchange. Of course, we have already seen a lot of clients moving to Finst. A lot of people like Binance because of the low fees. We are the lowest fees in the country at that moment. So we see a lot of influx. We will see in the future, what investors decide to do. But I think it's important that they're aware of all the alternatives that they can choose from. And if they're interested in safety, low fees, and product capabilities, then we become a very serious alternative. So in that sense, the future will tell us. It's a very recent event, just happened last Friday, but we will probably see investors, moving their assets as they have to move their assets, hopefully to a platform that is registered in the country and that they can trust.
So, recording to that, we got the MiCA regulating for Europe. So can you tell me something about what does that mean for current exchanges, and also what is the impact that is having for example, Finst?
Well, the impact is doubled. There's an impact for us as an exchange and the impact for clients. For us as an exchange, well, that means, of course, investing in compliance even more. It will come with a lot of additional work to make sure that we comply with all the regulations. We build Finst with MiCA in mind from day one. So we are already well prepared. There are still some work to be done. We have around 18 months to complete that process. But for us, for every exchange, that means higher costs, more compliance activities, more supervision. So that's on the exchange side. But for clients, the benefits of that means that there will be more rules that exchange have to comply with. Meaning that, again, if the idea is to make crypto a trusted asset class and to make sure that everyone operate within the same standard, then MiCA is, of course, a very good part of the answer. So, for example, when it comes to how assets are stored by exchanges, then this is something MiCA will address. There's a lot of MiCA which relates to stable coins. That's not something we offer, but if you're an issuer of stablecoin, you will have to comply with a lot of additional rules. So there's really there's a trouble rule as well. The trouble rule is basically when you transfer coins on chain from or to an exchange or wallet, the exchange will have to basically upload a set of information together with each transaction, so that we can establish who was the sender and who is the beneficiary of a crypto transaction. And the idea of that behind is of course to prevent financial crime. It is unfortunately well known that crypto has been used in the past for money laundering, also financing terrorism, and that's something that we as an exchange have to prevent. So in that sense, MiCA will really set up the standards and also allow exchanges to operate everywhere in Europe while having one license in a country. Currently, we need a registration in every single country, which is a little bit, strange, because we are in Europe, and one of the benefits of Europe is to actually let every provider operate cross-border. So it will also mean that for investors, they will have more opportunities and more choices to choose from. So it will really bring a lot more transparency and trust in the industry, and we're looking forward to it.
So, like, you have to establish a license in every European country for now, but when MiCA comes, you have like one license for complete Europe. So is that also within? And I think like you have to pay a fee to get a license. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. So currently it's not a license, it's a registration. There's a slight difference in terms of semantic, but it is true that if you want to operate in, let's say, France or Spain or Germany, you need a registration in each country. That will change. So with one license in, let's say, the Netherlands, we will be able to operate with what's called a passport. So the idea is if you're licensed in one European country, you can operate in everywhere in Europe with one license. So that makes it, a bit more fair and easier for parties to operate everywhere in Europe. And there are indeed supervision costs. We pay the regulator to supervise us, which is normal, of course. So that of course implies some cost for us as an exchange to apply for a license, and also on an ongoing basis, on a yearly basis.
So it's a yearly fee you have to pay.
Correct. It's a yearly fee we have to pay, which there are some criteria. Currently in the Netherlands, it's based on revenues you have as a crypto exchange. As directors, as board of directors, we have to be vetted by, in this case, the Dutch Central Bank. So there are costs associated, which is normal. The regulator is here to supervise and has to supervise the whole industry. That generates cost for them, and we, as a member of the crypto service providers, contribute to making sure that the regulators can supervise the industry.
So, like in terms of MiCA, I hear you say like you have to fulfill a couple of criterias. So can you tell me, like in summary, what those criterias are?
Well, the list is fairly long, but for example, from an asset segregation perspective, we will have to make sure, and that's already the case with Finst, but every exchange will have to make sure that their assets are segregated from their clients' assets, so that they are not commingled. Meaning that if something happens to the exchange itself, then the assets of the clients are safe. That's a very important one. There will be criteria about information provision and making sure that every information that an exchange has on their website in their marketing campaign is also fully transparent and non-misleading. So, and that's unfortunately not the case today, and that's something that needs to change. So there's really from an information provision, from corporate structure, from how assets are segregated, and many more topics. There's really a lot of aspects that will change with MiCA, which is a great thing again for investor, because if you want the industry to be trusted, and if you want institutional parties to start considering crypto as a trusted asset class, then there needs to be regulation. So I think MiCA, as we see it today, is going to be a MiCA 1, similar to MiFID 1, and that was in the traditional financial world some years ago. Then we have seen MiFID 2 and probably MiFID 3. I do believe that there will be a MiCA 2 in the coming years. So it's a matter of time until regulations start evolving and until we have a level playing field all over Europe for all participants.
So because right now we have like a couple exchanges in the Netherlands that pay DNB and like a fee for being, or that they can operate in the Netherlands. So if MiCA 1 and MiCA 2 is coming, what do you think about the playing field in the Dutch crypto exchange world? Are there going to be slight differences, or are some exchanges not they don't can comply in the world anymore, or in the landscape of crypto?
I think, we're in a market right now which is relatively slow with low liquidity, and if you look at the volumes of exchanges in 2021 versus today, then they have decreased by 80-90%. So you have seen Lightbit, who unfortunately decided to start their activities in the Dutch market. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more exchanges who decide to start their activity, not only because the market is slow, but also because there's now increased cost of compliance and regulatory costs. So from that perspective, I think what we will see happening is that exchanges who don't really differentiate themselves with a very strong, unique offering might either be acquired or might simply decide to stop their activity. And that's something the future will tell, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see more cases like that. I think MiCA will also force exchanges to be more transparent. And I was referring to that at the beginning of our discussion. I think there is a very low level of transparency from crypto exchanges, including in the Netherlands, about how fees are charged to clients. I mean, it's very simple, and maybe your auditors have experienced that, but if you try to find the fee schedule of most, not all, but most exchanges on their website, you will have a hard time. You will actually not find it. So it's very hidden, and the question is why? Why would you, not make things transparent? It's very simple. If you go to our website, you will see our fee schedule very clearly, nothing to hide. What you see is what you get. So I think MiCA will also force exchanges to become more transparent, which means that investors may realize that, hey, during all these years, I've been paying all of these fees. I've never seen it before, but now it's mandatory to disclose it. So I think that some people will realize how much they've been paying in the past, and maybe at some point, decide to go for a party that is fundamentally fully transparent. And I think that's something that not only MiCA will bring. Every exchange has to contribute to making the industry more transparent. You cannot wait for regulation to do things that are common sense. When we built our company, we knew that MiCA would make it mandatory to do certain things. But again, it's not because it's coming that you should wait until it comes, especially if it benefits investors. It's about doing the right thing. And for that, you don't need regulation. You need common sense. So in that sense, to answer your question, I think we will see a lot more consolidation in the industry. Probably we'll see new exchanges also emerging that don't exist today. So it will make the industry more attractive for investors, and that's a great thing.
Yeah, I would totally agree on that, because you also see the couple of years before 2023, there were a lot of problems within exchanges, a lot of hacks, a lot of money laundering and that kind of stuff. So I think it's a good thing to roll out MiCA. So like Finst is like not even 1 year old. So what do you see, like you and your company, within 2 to 3 years?
That's a great question. So we have a lot of plans. I was mentioning for this year we have a very full roadmap. We listen to our clients. Every company does that, but we not only listen to them, but we also make sure that whatever concern and features they want to see, we address it and we build it for them. So we're gonna this year roll out crypto deposits and withdrawals. I was explaining that. We're gonna expand our coins offering. We are going to launch a staking service, on-chain staking, which is not to be confused with lending, and I think that's a very important topic as well. So on-chain staking, we will add more order types. We will open our API for investors that like to use third-party providers and trade through algorithmic trading, for example. So that's for this year. So that's already a very full roadmap. We also want to expand internationally, everywhere in Europe. That has always been our mission. So we will start expanding in the next few months. We will, of course, apply for a MiCA license. That is something that will take us quite a lot of time in the coming month. So yeah, there is a lot more to come. I can't disclose everything just yet, but there are a lot of exciting features and services we're going to release. And we want to position ourselves as a very unique crypto investment platform with the lowest fees, the highest amount of coins that can be traded, and a great platform. And I think the combination of that plus safety and transparency will make us definitely a very unique player and hopefully one of the largest one in the Netherlands and beyond.
All right, thank you very much. I would assume like a lot of people think that security and transparency are lacking right now for a lot of exchanges, and I hope to see that to be better in the future. And so what I can hear from you is that Finst is really stepping up their game to provide that.
Absolutely. So
we're at the end of the interview. I would thank you for your story. Thank you for your talk about Finst, about the future, about certain subjects. So we want to also give the viewer some little bonus about Finst. Can you tell them more about it?
Yeah, sure. So we've decided to make sure that your audience from ExoTrader can benefit from opening an account with Finst. So anyone who opens an account with the link, which I believe will be in the description of this video, will be able to trade their first 10,000 euros without any commission. So buy and sell completely free. In order to discover the platform, and after that they will still benefit from the lowest fees in the country, and that's exclusively for your audience. We like the fact that you educate people about crypto, and a very warm thank you for this interview.
No worries. I really like the interview about your openness about Finst.
Thank you.
Zo, dames en heren, we zijn nu aan het einde gekomen van het interview. Ik vond het ontzettend interessant om wat vragen te stellen aan Julien. En wellicht horen we nog meer van hem in de toekomst. Als je gebruik wil maken van die Finst-korting, check dan even de beschrijving van deze video. En wens ik je niets anders dan een ontzettend fijne dag toe. En tot de volgende video.